And with that, Senator Schiff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Sauer, you've served as one of the President's defense lawyers. Should cases arise in the Justice Department involving the same cases in which you represented him, will you recuse yourself?
Senator, thank you for the question. As reflected in the ethics agreement that I have signed and in the regulations of the Department of Justice, as to any matter that were to come before me that might require a recusal obligation, I would consult with the Department of Justice ethics officials and follow my recusal obligations. So
you'll consult with the career ethics lawyers at the department?
Yes, that's correct.
You are aware, of course, that the career ethics officials at the department...
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Congress Every Day. Today, we've got an intense breakdown of a recent Senate hearing where Senator Adam Schiff went head-to-head with Donald Trump's Solicitor General nominee, John Sauer. The exchanges got heated, and questions were raised that have major implications for justice and ethics in the Department of Justice. In this video, I'll walk you through the key moments from this hearing, so stay tuned. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more insightful analysis.
At the department have been fired, demoted, transferred. They no longer exist. The two people in that office are one of your fellow criminal defense lawyers of Donald Trump and a political appointee who graduated from law school just a few years ago. They don't exist. So who are you going to consult? Are you going to go to one of his other criminal defense lawyers to find out if you should recuse yourself?
Senator, I'm not aware of any personnel actions that you've described, so I can't speak directly to those. I've just recently been through a process where I was consulting closely with a career DOJ
I'll tell you,
ethics attorney.
Mr. Sauer, those actions have taken place, and the two appointees are political appointees. The people who will make the recusal recommendations to you are political appointees. One was Mr. Bove's former chief of staff. The other was a fellow criminal defense lawyer for Donald Trump. If that's who you're going to for recusal advice, no one can have confidence that that judgment will be made properly. But let me move on to another question. You took the position as Donald Trump's lawyer that he could order SEAL Team 6 to...
Let's dive in. All right, let's get into it. The first major moment from the hearing happened when Senator Adam Schiff questioned John Sauer about whether he would recuse himself from any cases involving Donald Trump. Sauer responded by saying he would follow all recusal obligations and consult with ethics officials at the Department of Justice. But here's where things get interesting. Senator Schiff pushed back, questioning the integrity of those ethics officials. He pointed out that many career DOJ ethics officials have been replaced with political appointees. So this raises a big question. Can we trust these appointments to make impartial decisions? Schiff's next point was a major
to assassinate a political opponent and not be prosecuted for it unless he was impeached first. Should the president order the use of violence against a political appointment, will that continue to be your position as the lawyer for the United States? Will you represent to the court that any prosecution should be dismissed if the president is not first impeached?
Senator, I believe the exchange that you're referring to, which occurred during oral argument in the D.C. Circuit in that presidential immunity decision, I was asked a question about that, and what I responded was that the president may be prosecuted for an action like that, but under the plain language of the impeachment judgment clause, he must be first impeached and convicted by the Senate.
And as the judge in that argument made clear, that means your position is he cannot be prosecuted unless he's impeached first. So he can order the use of his office to use violence against a political opponent, and you would defend his ability to do that.
There was a major concern about the state of the DOJ ethics office. He brought up how many career professionals who previously held key positions in the ethics office have been removed or demoted. Now this is a big deal because these people were typically nonpartisan, focused on upholding the law fairly. Sauer, on the other hand, seemed caught off guard, claiming he wasn't aware of these changes. He argued that he had been in close consultation with career ethics officials recently, but can we really ignore the fact that many of the professionals Schiff mentioned have been replaced by political appointees? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, but it's definitely a red flag. Next up, we saw one of the most heated exchanges of the hearing. Senator Schiff asked Sauer about his past legal defense of President Trump, specifically when he argued that Trump could order violence against a political opponent and not be prosecuted.
In any criminal prosecution, unless he's impeached. Is that your testimony?
I believe this situation came up with respect to a real-world example.
Well, I'm giving you.
If I may.
I'm giving you, yes.
President
You'll answer
Obama,
my question.
Yes, I believe I am answering the question. President Obama ordered the essential killing of U.S. citizens located abroad by drone strike. And my colleague on the other side of that case was
My question is not about President Obama and using a drone strike against a terrorist. My question is Donald Trump using his office to assassinate a political opponent. If he's not impeached for it, would you defend against any prosecution as Solicitor General?
The hypothetical you've offered respectfully is so outlandish, I don't know if I'm in a position to address it.
Well, you addressed it for the court, but you won't address it for the country in this hearing?
I think I've just said exactly the same response that I gave
Okay,
to the
then
court.
exactly the same response is that you would evidently defend him against prosecution for that. Let me move on to the last question. The department moved to dismiss a corruption case against the mayor of New York.
Prosecuted unless impeached first. Yeah, you heard that right. This was in reference to a case he argued in the D.C. Circuit Court. Now, Schiff presses him, asking if Sauer would continue to defend Trump's actions as Solicitor General, especially in a hypothetical where Trump might use violence against a political opponent. Sauer's response? He avoided directly addressing the question and called the hypothetical outlandish. But does his refusal to fully answer leave us with more questions than answers? Let's talk about that. Another major moment came when Schiff questioned Sauer about a corruption case involving the mayor of New York. Apparently, the acting U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York resisted pressure to dismiss the case, but then it fell on a lower-level official to handle it. Schiff asked Sauer point-blank if he would have dismissed such a case under political pressure from the president. Again, Sauer...
The acting Southern District of New York U.S. attorney refused to undertake an action that she believed was deeply unethical. So then it fell on her number two, Hagen Scotton, to do the dirty deed of dismissing this case. This is what he said. Any assistant U.S. attorney would know our laws and traditions do not allow using the prosecutorial power to influence other citizens, much less elected officials, in this way. If no lawyer with an earshot of the president is willing to give him that advice, then I expect you will eventually find someone who is enough of a fool or enough of a coward to file your motion, but it was never going to be me. My question to you, Mr. Sauer, is, would that be you?
Would
that be you if it fell to you?
Sauer avoided giving a direct answer. This time, though, it's not just about the law, but about whether you're willing to stand up for justice when political pressure comes into play. It's a tough question that many legal professionals might not want to answer on the spot. But let's be real, if the law is being manipulated for political gain, that's a serious issue. Finally, we wrap up with Schiff's closing remarks. He really didn't hold back. He expressed concern that John Sauer, with his legal expertise, could potentially use the law to undermine the system rather than uphold it. Schiff's point was clear. Being a good lawyer isn't just about knowing the law, it's about using it ethically to serve justice. Schiff's concerns here are real. If someone in a position like Sauer's is willing to bend the law to protect a political agenda, it could have disastrous consequences for the country's legal system. It's a chilling thought, but something we have to consider seriously. So what do you think? Should John Sauer be confirmed as Solicitor General? Or do these questions about ethics, recusal, and the potential for political influence in the justice system raise too many red flags? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take on this, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more political